be
Oh,
coming
yes.
up on stream here. Warrior versus Priest. This one can take a while.
Yeah. I'll be right back, Frodan. I'm going to go get some snacks.
All right, me too.
See you guys. No, but for real, yeah, this game can go pretty long, but wow, that's a lot of weapons. I want to see what kind of priest this actually is. This shows us a little bit, but not too much. All three of these cards could be either in Control Priest or the Death Rattle Priest. So I believe D2 last week was playing the more control-heavy priests with the Wild Pyros and Zero Undertakers and things like that. Death Rattle shenanigans.
What was the sign that apDrop was holding up?
I didn't see it. I didn't even know he was holding up a sign.
Oh, he held something to the camera, but I was in the middle of trying to balance looking at mulligans and stuff. But either way, I think this matchup plays out pretty systematically. You try to line up removals for both the guys.
Yeah.
The big X factor here does tend to lean towards thought steals as well as late game mind control / like big legendary drops.
Yeah.
Also, I really want to know what D2 is detailing his deck to do. Like, is it really a deck that can scale late game well, or is it more oriented around beating aggressive decks?
Yeah, and that's a pretty big deal in that priest matchup because you talked about a lot of it comes down to those last couple cards, and many of those priest versus warrior games come down to fatigue, and it's sort of a battle between what priest decides to use as their removal, what they decide to mind control in the late game. If they tech in 2 mind controls like we saw Brian Kibler running earlier.
I like this turn 2 play. D2 with the light shall burn you and heal your opponent.
Yes.
The best turn 2 play outside of actually doing something.
It's pretty far below though. Well, I don't know. Maybe not on some people's list.
Sometimes it's all about playing with the hand you're dealt with. That was a great turn 2 from D2. apDrop, of course, has the perfect response to the Dark Cultist, the Death Bite. Nax for Nax. My axe to your face, and he's going to use the Armor Smith to just basically control the board implicitly. This is not any kind of real pressure. It's just because having armor count might be important here.
Yeah. And these are some pretty awkward turns here. Sometimes Priest can have a little bit of trouble dealing with the Armor Smith. I mean, best case scenario is you have to steal it with a Cabal, but then you don't have it for like Acolyte of Pains or something like that. There's a lot of great targets in Warrior though. They really rely on those cards to sort of get them through a certain point in the game. But I would say this isn't too bad here. His hand is quite full of weapons, so he's definitely going to want to cycle through some of those.
Yeah, I'm not sure how, like, if it's bad or not to kill off this creature and set up another weapon. What do you like? You're the warrior expert here, so like, what should apDrop do in this scenario?
I mean, what other choice do you have? To be honest, I think it's the one thing that you're worried about though is Harrison Jones, because it's going to be coming up on to turn 5.
Sure.
And I mean, if you're running Harrison Jones yourself, then you would think that a priest would be able to tech that in pretty easily.
I guess the other alternative is to use a cool Taskmaster to clear off.
That's true.
And then you can just armor up, but that's...
Your hand's going to be really clogged if you do that, because then you'd hold on to your weapon charge, but it looks like that's actually what he's going to do here.
I like it.
Yeah. This way, it gives him an extra turn to draw into like an Acolyte of Pain next turn, which will give him a lot of value out of his Armor Smith and out of the Acolyte of Pain.
You know what's actually nice about this play too is that it creates, like, it doesn't become a liability anymore then, because eventually the Armor Smith can be stolen by that turn 6 Cabal Shadow Priest, which, it just takes that creature and starts building armor, and all of a sudden Shield Slam actually is a viable card in Priest when they thought steal it. So, and
also having this this Death Rattle from the Death Bite still be available coming into turn 5 could end up being a big deal. Because I mean, what does a Priest usually do on turn 5? They can Loatheb, Sledge Belcher, Holy Nova, and having that Death Rattle on the Death's Bite could be pretty good in dealing with like a Sledge Belcher or something like that. Because a lot of those 5 drops are 5 health creatures. I guess it wouldn't really matter because you'd sacrifice the Armor Smith anyway.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Man, and actually it would be worse because then you lose your Cruel Taskmaster in the process because of the Death's Bite Death Rattle.
Having trouble there?
There's a lot of death, man. And the spooky ambiance from apDrop's webcam is creeping me out.
This is an interesting play. You know, the fact that he heals the Armor Smith, I wasn't even considering that. What do you think, TJ?
Huh. Is he setting it up for prime steal target, or?
Could be. Also, he has the availability of using Shadow Madness with Wild Pyromancer next turn as well.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. Well, I wanted to see if this pays off for D2. I'm a little bit baffled because I haven't actually seen people heal opponents' Armor Smiths to try and set up a better steal on it. That seems a little too clever in a lot of ways. It's like, oh, thank you, but you actually kept the Armor Smith a little bit alive, so that way he can gain a little bit more armor.
That's weird, because you're telegraphing your next play so much. But now that he's just going to go ahead and play the Sylvanas, what was the point?
I don't know. Like at this stage, it's not really anything is telegraphed. And the nice thing though is apDrop can't steal that Sylvanas, because that would have been pretty disastrous if he was able to do so.
Yeah. He's got to play around this a little bit. I mean, do you just let him steal one of those smaller creatures and just throw in the...
Yeah, you have so many weapons, it's actually become problematic, which is why it's interesting that he chose to go with such an aggressive minion-based route and not utilize more of his weapons.
Yeah.
'Cause he had that Death Spite, second Death Spite for a while now, right?
Yeah. And those Fiery War Axes aren't going to be that useful as the game goes on. I mean,
well, maybe they can be used to race, perhaps.
That's true.
If you race your opponent, like you have it for the extra damage.
Yep.
Wow, he's gonna go with the risk, and it takes the Harrison Jones.
Oh.
So he has to kill it off, set up his own weapon again, and he's really hoping, by the way, that he doesn't have his own Harrison Jones to be able to take another 2 cards.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, cool. Take the Armor Smith, bro. And to that, I say gladly.
Is he going to take it, though, or is he going to save it for, like, a Acolyte of Pain, or maybe a more healthy Armor Smith?
Well, I think it's also the fact that, 1, it, quote, clears the board. 2,
yeah.
I mean, it's a 1-1. 2, it also is outside of the range of Death Spite, so it's a better time now than later.
Yes.
And then 3, it's like, it's the most mana intensive, versus Priest works a lot of combos,
yeah.
so you want to keep the more expensive things out of your hand and the cheaper things in your hand so you can do all these cool things.
Yeah. Well, he's got a pretty easy way to clear this on the board. I mean, he can just throw his creatures in and then just still be able to put out an Injured Blade Master and heal it up that's out of Death Spite range. I mean, it's going to be prime execute target, but at the same time, and what else is he going to do?
Oh, man.
Can he
Mega Ball Shadow Priest did not want to die.
He can even play the Dark Cultist too, but I'm not sure if he's going to...
Yeah, I think Dark Cultist here is not bad.
No, he just goes ahead and passes the turn.
I think he doesn't want to... Well,
he would have buffed up the Injured Blade Master.
Well, assuming he doesn't have Execute.
Yeah. So I guess he's playing around that. That's not too bad.
I am a little curious as to why he didn't, but... You know, Baron Geddon's actually a pretty good draw here. And D2's going to slam it down and clear off this Injured Blade Master.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to bait out the Shadow Word Death here, so that way Ragnaros is much more powerful. But there is Mind Control on the opposite end, so D2... Again, this is what we're talking about, lining up the removals.
Yep.
And Mind Control being a big factor here. D2 needs to draw, or sorry, apDrop needs to draw a way to deal with his own Ragnaros, like BGH or Execute.
Yeah. And he's just running low on removal as it is. He's running low on cards. We saw him draw into 1 Shield Slam. Haven't seen the Executes. And he doesn't have any more big threats in his hand to like follow up the Rag with. Doesn't have the Alexstrasza or the Grommash or Cairn, and he already played the Sylvanas and it got cleaned up pretty easily as well. So he could be running out of threats pretty quickly here. Thoughtseal I think is actually a big card in this matchup, because if the Priest can steal some of those impactful late game drops,
yeah, definitely,
then it can really swing the tides in their favor in a game that's in a matchup that's already close. Once you get to the later stages.
Here we go. Ragnaros comes down, and interestingly enough, even if the Pyromancer lived, Mind Control would have actually killed the Pyromancer.
Yeah.
So it's actually better off that they shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then he would have taken damage from the Rag. In fact, that was the best case scenario for D2. And apDrop needs to find a way to kill off this Ragnaros because he's taking heavy damage now.
Oh no. He can't even use the Brawl. I mean, he can
Well,
hope to draw into
Shield block Armorsmith.
Shield block Armorsmith, yeah.
Brawl. Shield block Armorsmith. Brawl.
But that's unlikely.
Mm.
Oh, man. You have to put out a creature here. Just because you need to preserve that armor just in case the Shield Slime is what you draw into next turn. If he takes 8 damage right now, I'll put him at 11. And that would still be hoping that he's able to draw into something next turn. I guess he can Lilith them and Brawl next turn, but that never feels good.
I guess it calls into question if apDrop was anticipating mind control. Like maybe he played too quickly and didn't think about it, because usually you have to be worried about if your opponent can mind control and how you kill your own minion.
Yeah.
So it was either that or apDrop thought about, well, the longer I hold on to it, the more likely he has it. So I have to just try my best to get it out as soon as possible. And in this case, it's backfired completely.
Well, if the Sledge Pusher comes down, he is going to get some Black Knight value out of it, but there's still the Rag to deal with on the board.
Yeah, but there are no more minions for Brawl, so at least he has that going for him. This is assuming Rag hits the Lotheb, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to hit. Oh, it kills off the Lotheb.
So then Shield Slam.
Oh! This could be a really powerful turn. He can clean up the entire... No. He wouldn't have enough mana for the Fiery War Axe, yeah. Almost cleared the entire board, but I guess that's going to be a use for Fiery War Axe as the game goes on.
Cleaning up, effectively clear the board.
Cleaning up the slime.
Just not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still got both Executes in his deck. He still has... I mean, we've yet to see what other legendaries he's actually running. We haven't seen the Alexstrasza. Grommash is a given. Karen is sometimes put in, but it's a little bit too slow nowadays. And we've already seen the Black Knight. Sometimes it's really tough to fit in both Black Knight and Karen, because sometimes, especially in more aggressive matchups, those can both sit as dead cards.
Ooh.
Oh, ooh la la.
I mean, it's not the fact that Alexstrasza is fact, that's another big threat that Warrior might just not have removal for.
Or late game, I mean, you can just hold on to Alexstrasza until it gets to Fatigue Wars and then just plop yourself back up to 15 health. It doesn't usually come to that. You usually have to play Alexstrasza earlier on to be that threat, but there's a lot of uses for that.
Absolutely. I think in the back of his mind, D2 is wondering, like, does Execute even, like, bother with it? I think you do still. I think you play the slow. This is still not a race for damage. It's still like a matchup which comes down to attrition and lining up removals.
Yep. Acolyte of Pain draw on this turn. Not the greatest.
It's okay. I mean, it still draws you a card, assuming your opponent doesn't just take it. But the bad news is that he does have Shadow Madness.
Yeah. That's a really good Shadow Madness, too, because he can clear that Black Knight all the way off the board.
Yeah, actually, if you're counting for Shadow Madness, Cabal Shadow Priest, and all these other ways to interact with it,
yeah,
I think holding on to the Acolyte might have been slightly better. But it's more of an optimistic overture where it's like, well, you know, I have to play around all these things, or I have to just be aggressive and hope that he doesn't have it.
Yeah. To be honest, I think actually holding on to it probably would be the better choice.
Oh,
I mean, he doesn't have... Yeah, that's just...
Who's the Warrior player now?
Oh, jeez.
This is actually quite humorous.
Oh, man. Wait a second.
Oh, he's going to deal damage, draw a card.
Yep.
Ah!
Clear it off the board and bring your injured Blade Master back up to full health. Clear around the...
Or even more.
Yeah.
Oh, Power Shield on the 2-2. Make sure Fiery War Axe doesn't get value.
Yeah, this is a really fantastic turn right now for D2. He's putting himself in a great position. apDrop's going to have some pretty impactful draws over the next couple of turns. He does have the Brawl, but I know that D2 is going to play around that in Big Game Hunter. Well,
he needs to save that.
He
needs to save that for Alexstrasza. But Brawl doesn't even pull him out of the situation.
Nope.
This realistically might be an armor up pass.
Yeah, that'd be the best play. He even has to worry about, even if he knows that, or doesn't know that the Alexstrasza was thought stolen, which there's no way he could know. Ragnaros still hasn't come out from the Priest, which you know this is a heavy control Priest, so it's probably in there. And if you throw out the big game hunter now, then it's sort of just food for that injured Blade Master to just eat right up. So makes the right play, goes ahead and passes it over.
Yeah, but now you can put on such a big pressure with AlexStrasza. Or you don't even have to. You can play Dark Cultist and then just heal yourself and pass.
Yeah.
3 creatures is still like a reasonable amount. It's also still out of Fiery War Axe range, so I think Dark Cultist, the more I think about it, is great.
Yep. And even if you brawl in this type of situation, if something lives besides the Dark Cultist, it's just going to be buffed for the health. So.
Yep, D2's playing well. Yep. Very nice. And apDrop's under so much pressure here.
D2's performance in matches is directly proportionate to how many sips from his mug he takes. It's a true story. It's a fact.
Gotcha. So the more sips per minute he gets,
yep,
the better he does.
Exactly.
So someone take away his cup.
If you take away his cup, it's like his kryptonite.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kryptonite would mean the cup is the source of his weakness. It's more like Samson's hair, where it's like,
yeah, that's true.
The source of his power is attached to him, and you have to remove it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
correcting your superhero mythology here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Sensei Frodan.
You're welcome. I did a lot of studying.
That's good. That's really good.
I mean, I had to read something during college. Brawl's going to be coming out here, and Brawl with the BGH means that AlexStrasza is going to be enabled, but apDrop can't play around that. And it's going to be the worst outcome, or second to worst outcome for D2. I guess the worst outcome would have been the BGH surviving. That cool Taskmaster
is now an Oasis Snapjaw.
Exactly, you read my mind. And you know what, now that BGH has been used, D2 is going to heal him for 1 in attack.
AlexStrasza's new battle cry, heal your opponent for 1. I'd still use it.
Value. Really? You'd still use it?
No, I wouldn't.
In that case, Nozdormu is actually strictly better than AlexStrasza.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing against Molten Giants.
Or unless you think you're the slower player than your opponent.
Okay, well, let's see. Is there a cool way you can use Shadow Madness this turn? No, it doesn't look like it.
No. This is probably just going to be
no
standard clearing procedure.
Just always want to double check just to make sure and verify.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to use the Circle of Healing here? So that way you can't get executed?
Yeah, actually I would. Because, I mean, what are you holding on to those Circle of Healings for?
Alchemy Soul Priest double combos.
Oh, that's true. But what would you use that for? You've already been through so many of his threats.
I guess he does have another Shadow or Death, but after Gromosh, then AlexStrasza.
Oh yeah, AlexStrasza. We still haven't seen the AlexStrasza yet. That's correct.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe he doesn't have insurance against Ysera if his opponent has it.
Yeah, but even Akanite, well, I guess Akanite Double Circle would put you in close range because you could heal it, and then you just need 2 more damage from somewhere on the board to be able to clear it off. Yeah, apDrop's is in a terrible spot.
Awkward. This is so awkward.
Yeah, especially if D2 takes a couple more sips, apDrop's just dead in the water.
He's almost full. Quickly, apDrop. Oh boy. And that's just so devastating. Because he's gonna get this completely wrecked. How much damage does he have, by the way? He's got 8, 10, 11, 16.
He's close.
He's pretty close.
Yeah. That's my math for you. He's within 10 points of lethal.
Very, very good game from D2. And you know the Cabal Shadow Priest is fine. You can snipe this Armor Smith, take out most of his armor, if not all of his armor, and then pressure for a win next turn. apDrop looks like he's going to be falling in game number 1.
Yeah, this is... D2, I don't think he's made any even questionable plays so far this game.
Well, the only one that surprised me was the healing of the Armor Smith, but I think his hand was so poor that it warranted...
maybe it was
like
just
an out-of-the-box move like that.
Maybe it was just really next-level BM.
Yep. I mean, apDrop at this point realizes that he's probably lost, so he's even making slightly sloppy plays here of armoring up before he attacks.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Priest still can't actually kill him, right?
Yeah.
He's like really close to killing him, but he still can't.
Yeah. Even if the priest gets close, it's still usually going to be a long game. Yeah, he's just trying to stall out to see what he can get from his opponent, and he's going to see the Holy Fire.
I mean, if he has Alex Straza, that's actually a really dangerous gamble.
Oh, wow! Frodan the Mystic, predicting the future. Calling the cards.
Well, that's pretty funny, honestly.
Man, he doesn't even have a good way to deal with this. Oh, well, double circle, but then he loses a lot of pressure on the board.
Yeah.
I guess he could single circle.
Single circle, kill off with the hero power. He's so far ahead that it pretty much doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then he can drop second Arcanine.
Yeah, he's still got, I think, quite a few cards left. Can we mouse over real quick?
I mean, D2 is going for ultimate BM here.
3 cards. Trying to think of the best way that he can efficiently close out this game. I mean, he's still thinking through these turns. Just as insurance. Trying to think what cards he has left in his deck.
apDrop to come back if D2 runs out of damage?
I don't know. I think left in his deck is like an Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah, which is actually nice because you want to get as many cards as you can at the moment. Fatigue doesn't matter until you actually get to Fatigue here. And like, you'd rather have 2 cards and be even on Fatigue than 2 cards ahead of Fatigue at the moment because you need those bombs.
What else would he have in his deck at this point?
I think he has another Sludge Belcher somewhere in there.
Executes.
He has another Execute. Wow. Was not expecting this.
Oh! Wow.
Wait.
Okay.
What? Okay, I think he's dead now because of
Shadow Madness.
He wasn't expecting the second Shadow Madness.
Yep.
Or the silence.
Even a silence. So many ways for him to be able to finish it here, but apDrop gets a little bit of burst of speed at the end there.
I think he rushed through that turn a little bit too quickly.
Yeah.
He still had him killed, I think, but
yeah.
You know, I think there's a remote possibility, maybe, of somehow. Probably not because we'll see if it's going to be Zoo once again, and it looks like it is, with Undertaker in the opening hand. apDrop will be also looking for his own quick start, which he has secured. I suppose the only question is, does he keep Animal Companion, because it's right on curve?
Oh, yes. Curve. Yeah, I think you keep Animal Companion.
Feels so good, right, to use up your mana every single time.
Yeah. I think this is a really good starting hand for apDrop.
DT needs a little bit of help.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about Zoo is it's got a lot of 1-drops, more than Hunter even.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering, we are using the new spectator mode, and you don't get to see the mulligans of the player that throws away their cards first until everybody's picked.
Yep.
So just one of the new features of spectator mode to make sure that nobody can spawn camp you, so to speak. And
spawn camp you.
The Hearthstone version of spawn camping. I think this is well, I don't know.
I think you do play Undertaker, Coin Leopard Gnome. You
Yeah.
don't have a turn 2 play with Coin. Like if you had 3 1-drops, say you had 2 Leopard Gnomes or a Web Spinner, then you could go for it. But I think you do try to pressure as much as you can.
Yeah.
That's a pretty clutch draw here from D2.
Yeah, if he didn't draw into 2-drop Death Rattle, that would have been a really rough situation for him.
Would have fallen very far behind. But, I mean, there's so many Death Rattles and small creatures that he was bound to hit one.
Yeah.
The fact that he drew 2 of his heaviest cards in Defender of Argus and Darkrai Dwarf is a little bit unlucky.
Well, having both Savannah Hymens in your hand early on as a hunter is pretty devastating.
He might get a 3rd one with Web Spinner.
It's a possibility, yeah. But at least he's rounding off the rest of his hand with pretty decent cards.
Wow. This is a very even fight so far across the board.
And
on a creeper, though, is pretty clutch.
And Defender of Argus is really good as well for these sort of early board battles from very aggressive decks.
Oh, man. He really hopes this is going to be Explosive Trap off the Mad Scientist.
Yeah. Let's see what it... Oh, well, not yet.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
Almost.
But, when he gets to that point, he's going to want to hope that it's Explosive Trap, if he's playing it.
Yeah. We saw Max played earlier on, but other than that, I think it's been snake traps all day, all night for the last couple days of casting that we've done for this tournament.
So there's a couple of ways to play this turn based off of what you interpret traps would be. Defender of Argus preemptively, and you just push. Okay, so I guess you're just gonna erase so that way you don't activate it early. You give yourself the opportunity to draw into silence as well.
Yep. I think picking up something to play on this turn is actually a pretty big deal.
Ooh, that's a big roll here on Leok.
Nice.
Wow, that's actually such a big deal. And that trap is a freezing trap, and he got the King of Beasts.
There we go.
That's actually a really big deal too.
Yeah.
He's laughing. He basically just got a Druid of the Claw.
Yeah. So
because
it gives +1 attack for every other beast that you have.
right, and then the Leok already gives a +1 buff, so that's going to be a 4/6 taunt, and that is such a big deal. D2 is not thinking about
he can't be
at all.
No. It fits his curve as well. What more could you ask for? Is this GVG?
Yeah, well, actually he's going to kill the Leok here with the Dark Iron Dwarf. We've been so focused on what happened to apDrop.
Yeah. GVG release confirmed.
Well, I guess now you play Lotheb. But, you know, with Savannah Highmanes and King of Beasts, that combination can be pretty nasty, especially with the Death Rattles.
I think King of Beasts is actually a pretty, not underwhelming card, but very inconsistent card. A 2/6 taunt for 5 is actually not that, well, it's okay.
Well, it scales.
It's very conditional, though.
Yeah, well, you play Unleash the Hounds, King of Beasts.
Yeah.
It's very, I like that it's a defensive beast for once.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of, like, just being super aggressive, YOLO, destroy this beast, win the game.
Yeah. Save the beast, save the world.
It's one of the very few, along with Ironfur, Grizzly, and Misha.
Oh, he's thinking about it here.
Really?
I don't know. I think he's just maybe confused.
I mean,
he's thinking, hey, what does this card even do?
Well, he's worried about dying next turn.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be facing 8 damage, and he's worried about like Doomguard plus Soulfire.
Well, but it's a very real possibility actually, because he's got a Power Overwhelming sitting in his hand.
Yep, just needs to pick up any kind of damage here.
Oh,
whoa!
That's it! Wow, and just like that,
wrecked. Oh man, apDrop won't be happy, and of course he nods in confirmation. He's like, yep. That's what I was afraid of. And the King of Beasts will have to sit this one out.
Yep.
That's too bad. I was actually hoping for some big power plays with that.
Yeah, it was the Beast and Hunter 5-mana 3/2s.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, if you change Man Scientist, you change Undertaker, you take away legitimately cool decks in like Mage or
yeah, you're not just affecting Hunter in that
right.
type of change.
You completely lock out Paladin to utilize Mad Scientist as well. So
and we all know that Paladin needs all the help they can get right
Right,
now.
exactly. So I'm looking at other culprits that make it really good. Web Spinner, of course, is an excellent card, and it's in the opening hand of D2. You know what's also a great card to have in your opening hand?
Wild Growth.
Wild Growth. Good
That
eye.
is. Yeah.
Good eye.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of Wild Growth.
Did you ever play baseball? Because it was a really quick spot there. I was pretty impressed.
I actually played quite a bit of baseball, Frodan. Baseball was my main sport before.
Are you a pitcher or are you a catcher?
I'm not going to answer that question. You know what? I was an
Good.
outfielder.
You clearly were in sports before. If you know what I was leading with that question.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Wild Growth is perfect too off the coin because you can leash straight into a 3-mana minion of your choice.
Yeah.
Which do you like leading off with? Shade of Naxxramas 1 or Shade of Naxxramas 2?
Ooh.
Like, do you play off the right most or the leftmost card?
I play off the leftmost because sometimes this is something that's lost me a countless number of games when I'm like moving my mouse over to click the minion on the far right. Somehow I'll click the end turn button in transition.
Okay.
I like to play my turns in very circular motions.
Gotcha.
So I start from the left side of the map and go all the way around to the right. So if I'm going for a minion that's further to the left, I tend to like end the circle a little bit earlier before the end turn button.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just a bad habit that I have.
Yeah. I can see that. It definitely messes with your conductor motion of how you play.
Not quite what was planned.
apDrop going to use his Farseer to heal up. I like it. You know, the minions here effectively are like removal spells.
Yeah.
And you still have to deal with the Shade, not to mention he still has Shade number 2. But it doesn't play around the fact that his opponent might have the Eaglehorn Bow and chop things down.
What do you think of this Earthen Ring Farseer in the Druid?
Oh, I like it a lot. I like how it surprises a lot of people. I like that it keeps you alive longer health-wise.
Yeah.
I like that it squeezes in perfectly with late-game plays like Ancient of Lore, where you need to heal a lot. It's like, oh, I need to heal like 8 health, so just do that.
Also, not even in the aggressive matchups, I think in matchups where you're focused more on board control, it can really help as well, putting a little bit of extra body and getting more out of creatures. Like Spectral Knight, you can trade more effectively with Spectral Knight and then heal it on up with an Earthen Ring Farseer.
It's a great analysis, man.
Yeah.
What strat did he get off of the...
Let's see. We can look.
My mouse is the one hovering
Oh,
over the Druid
no.
cards. I'm like, yeah!
We can't.
Oh,
no. Oh, it's Snake Trap.
It's a Snake Trap.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets
There we go.
the Young Dragonhawk, which isn't exactly the most impressive, but you know, if D2 takes his time. Oh.
Well, Young Dragonhawk Houndmaster, or even Direwolf Alpha Young Dragonhawk, that's 4 damage.
He doesn't want him to know this is Snake Trap. Because I was like, well, wouldn't you leave it up to try get Snake Trap? But it's like, well, he's going to attack face first, and then if Freezing Trap ever came down, he can time it with Farseer, so you get rid of the creature as fast as you can. Alright, so let's Drake it up.
Or not. Huh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is bad. Because, I mean, he gave him another charge on the bow. When I say this is bad, I mean, this is horrible for apDrop in the sense that, like, he's in a bad situation now.
He made the wrong read in that situation.
He really thought that, like, if it was... You know what? I think the killing off the Farseer made him think it's Freezing Trap, too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want him to Freezing Trap that back. So... That was a good sell from D2, and that confused apDrop enough to make him really make a suboptimal play.
Yeah.
And now, like, I really like it. You know, how D2 has been able to take control of this tempo. It doesn't even matter if he has swipe. He's still taking way too much damage.
And he's basically forcing apDrop right now to have the swipe.
Right. He has a Wrath for 1 here.
Yeah, he's got to dig for this, and what's he going to do?
Oh!
He gets it! Wow!
Oh! Right as he was sipping
no!
too.
He forgot to sip before the turn!
That was a mistake from D2.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, he still has ways to put on damage here.
This doesn't feel too great. But it's sort of necessary at this point. I mean, he's put he's put apDrop on a clock still.
That single-handedly put apDrop back into the game. That one outer there.
Yeah.
He needed that swipe so badly. But even more than that, he needed Wrath for 1 so that way he could have swiped effectively the Sludge Belcher.
Yeah. He's got Cenarius as well to follow this up.
He needs a high main right now.
Ooh.
Not it.
Not. It's probably the opposite of a high main.
Yeah, pretty close to it.
And again, he uses the Unleash the Hounds on a single target just to get value out of that Direwolf Alpha and clear off 1 creature. Doesn't really have a choice, though.
Yeah, absolutely none. This is why Unleash the Hounds is such an interesting balanced card in a way, because it's so... It really does depend on what you're doing to play around it, right?
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be pretty tough to chew through. He knows that he's not playing around Unleash the Hounds. And there's the high main, so that's gonna do wonders and sort of giving him more options to close out this game.
It's really close, but if Savage Roar is drawn right here, that's game over.
Yeah.
So he's on a win draw here.
Oh! apDrop.
Oh, actually no.
No, it's one off.
He's one off.
He needs to innervate.
Oh my goodness! Actually,
one
that's my apologies.
Off lethal, and apDrop gives that one to the camera, saying, "You know what, guys? I see it too, and I'm a sad boy."
Well, that's embarrassing. I thought it was actually a lethal, but he's actually 1 damage. You're right.
Yeah, that's not a Gazrilla. It doesn't have 6 attack.
Yeah, I mean, if he had innervate as well, I guess he would have been able to. But now he has to remove this high main.
Yeah, and this hurts because then that gets rid of that win condition that you had in your hand already that you were sort of relying on.
Right.
He's going to have to use the the Force of Nature to clear off this high main, and then he's just not going to have enough much damage, and he can heal for 1 every turn, basically. Well, only take 1 damage every turn for the hero power, I guess. But still, this is pretty heartbreaking.
You're also not working with much time.
Yeah, definitely not. And the cards in his hand don't really have like an immediate impact on his health total.
Okay, so now if he draws Force of Nature, he'll be on lethal draw. Meanwhile, D2 plays Web Spinner because even if you draw a Beast off of it, you still can kill command.
Yep.
Unless you draw
King Crush.
King
But then you would
Crush,
win the
that's
game
fine
anyway.
anyways. Oh,
Whoa!
wait, I was not expecting that card.
Hello there, Shiny Rag. I think apDrop's, all of his decks have been golden so far. Intimidation factor.
I think you Wrath for 1 first, though.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because if you hero power, it's the same as if you hit the Web Spinner versus doing 1 damage, not getting a life.
Yeah, but at the same time, well, I don't know. Because he wants to be able to heal 1 health this turn. Because he wants to play around Kill Command's hero power, so he wants to be at 6 health at the end of this turn.
This plays around Huffer as a possibility for him to get killed, so Drew the Claw.
He's only played 1 Kill Command, right?
You're right.
So this does not play around that.
Oh,
there it is!
My
Wow!
God! Seriously?
That's crazy!
He's got Garzilla.
Wow.
Garzilla's a creature that gets double the attack whenever it takes damage.
Yeah, this guy's deck is crazy!
apDrop's like, man, I should have put that in my Hunter deck. The problem is, he actually can't deal with this board, and I believe, okay, this is just a guess, but if he just Savage Roars, that's lethal.
Yeah, 6 plus 7, 13 plus 6, 19. Oh, he's got
yeah, apDrop's like, oh my god, he didn't have Kill Command. Imagine if he got Kill Command off the Garzilla, that'd be hilarious.
I don't think he even saw the King of Beasts last turn as well, so that's twice now in this series that apDrop has gotten a GVG Beast, so
that's funny.
Some things are on his side, some things are not, and that is going to be game, and D2 is going to sweep apDrop 3-0.
Yeah, oh, apDrop's the Druid.
Oh,
player.
what? Okay, well, that's embarrassing. We both had embarrassing moments today.
Yeah, this game was a total fail on our parts, and D2 partially feels
4 draws.
Actually, so far it's a pretty good draw if you have double Doom Guard. So double Doom Guard into like Dark Iron Dwarf.
Yeah. Well, there's one of those.
Yeah, just things to make it pretty slow.
Well, he is going to have the Wrath to be able to deal with this. Oh,
okay.
no. Okay.
apDrop needs Innervate now. Oh, he's playing it before he even draws his next card. I mean, you have to slow down.
Bold moves, and he gets the second Undertaker anyway, so that's rough.
Yes.
And he's got that Voidwalker there to protect it. The only thing that would be able to get him out of this situation would be like a second Wrath, which not very likely to have in your first 6 cards.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell that apDrop's stressed right now. His hand's on his shoulder. He's like trying to calm himself down. But
yeah,
how can you calm yourself down when you have an Undertaker that's already a 3/4?
It's very rage-inducing.
Yes. Instead of developing a Yeti, you have to silence that creature. It's just way too much damage.
And Big Game Hunter, I mean, it's a body, but at this point, your hand is just so clogged right now. There's so many things that you want to do this turn already that's pretty much going to be a dead draw. He's even got a few activators for that as well.
Yep. I mean, right now he's gonna clear the board and then put a Dark Iron Dwarf out. He's gonna cross his fingers for no swipe, but it's fine. Like at this stage, apDrop is just in survival mode. Okay, that's one of the better draws you could have picked up here for sure.
Fits his curve well. Gonna do wonders in blocking a lot of damage. What would you charge?
The 1/2. Because now, like, he can pick up an easy trade they would have done anyways.
Yeah.
With Dark Iron Dwarf.
Okay.
With any buffer, or even actually now it's worse because it's Soulfireable.
And he can clear his hand and use the Soulfire here.
Exactly. So like, Now you lost him for a little less value. I mean, this is just personal choice, but
Yeah.
I generally like charging the Druid Claw just to pick up immediate value.
Yeah, I find myself, the more I play Druid, the more I really go towards playing that Druid Claw in charge mode more times than not.
All right, Force of Nature to clear. This game's been pretty systematic, but the nice thing is that D2, post Force of Nature,
Yeah.
doesn't actually have that much damage on board. So if he just gets like another Rubian Egg, maybe just picks like a Void Walker, like really slow, weak stuff, he can climb back into this game.
Yeah, and he also runs those Earthen Ring Farseers as well, so that's going to give him maybe a few extra turns to be able to keep himself in the game as well.
Is he thinking at all about playing Yeti? Because I feel like this is almost like you have to Force Nature or you might just die. But he might be contemplating about playing the Yeti instead and hero powering.
So if he hero powers the Abusive Sergeant, he'd be at 13 health. And then that 6 damage would be showing on the board, so he knows that there's power overwhelming in that deck.
Yeah, but he has to tap for it. He needs 2 cards. He can't do that. So
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
he's just gonna do the Yeti. All right.
Okay.
Well, more power to him, and you cross your fingers for no Defender of Argus.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling somewhere, just deep down in my stomach, that Defender of Argus is coming.
Ah, well, it's not going to be this turn. Well, it could be still. Nope.
This is actually a little awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point he's so low that just going face seems like the right choice.
Ooh.
It's just a really tough board to swipe, though. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you. Okay. Let's see. How do you do this?
Hero power the egg, swipe the Dark Iron Dwarf, throw the Yeti into the Nerubian.
But you're also taking damage off of the juggles of whatever comes out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Then you just got to throw your Yeti into the Knife Juggler. But if you do that, how much health are you going to be at? You're going to leave a. It would just be a 2-1 on the board. And you'd still have a 4-2 Yeti. And what else would he do with that turn?
I think I'm okay with. I was going to say just Force of Nature here to try to remove. Ancient of Lord of Heal feels a little redundant because it's about net neutral.
Oh, would you clear the Dark Iron Dwarf there? Would you clear the Knife Juggler? Because the Knife Juggler would be potential
more damage.
3 more damage from that.
It's going to be more the damage.
Yeah.
You suicide the. First, you buff the egg, right? And then you suicide that in. You suicide the Harvest Golem as well.
Yeah.
And then you have 1 damage each, and then you just summon Lotheb. Oof. Okay. Smash that Harvest Golem.
Or tap to try for a Soulfire for lethal.
Yep.
Or do you trade first?
Well, crack the egg into the Ancient of Lord to evaluate, and then in worst comes to worst, you can juggle the Harvest Golem by killing off the Yeti for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think that.
Oh, okay. He's going to be really safe about this. Alright, well, either way, he's so far ahead.
Yeah.
It feels somewhat inconsequential.
I don't think there's any way that he can be able to deal with this board and still
No,
come out of this situation alive.
Anymore.
Yeah, the low depth was really timely here. And with 8 mana, I mean, yeah, this is... Looks like apDrop is going to fall. He's going to take a couple seconds to think this one over, but realize that there's going to be no way out of this one.
Yeah, just things cost too much. If he had the access to swipe and keeper, I think he actually had a really good turn. This,
yeah,
he could have swiped and keeper down whatever remains, and then would have left just a 2-1.
Yeah.
So it would have been less than the mercy of Soulfire or Doomguard.
Yeah. Yeah, apDrop, you can see in his face that he's a little bit disappointed with how this series has played out, but I mean, we did see them laughing and joking last game at that Gazrilla, but it looks like this time I am correct. Let me just make sure. D2, yep, D2's the Warlock. apDrop, yep, he's the Druid. So D2 is going to take a 3-1 victory over apDrop and move on to the semifinal.